Hey guys, it's the WalterFootball.com After Dark Show for February 9, 2024. We're doing the Super Bowl 58 Picks and Props Thursday Thoughts Show. Joined once again by Quacky T. Tom, how are you? And are you excited for the Super Bowl that's coming up?
Well, how's it going, man? It's great to be on another. Well, it's going to be another rousing Thursday night edition of the show. I'll tell you, I was just telling Walt backstage, like we're in the green room. I take no pleasure in reporting this. I have never been less excited about not only a Super Bowl, but maybe any football game ever. And I do have I have decided on who I like, and I do have one prop that I really like. But hopefully we can chat it up a little bit, get me a little more excited for the game. Because earlier in the week I was thinking I might not even watch, but I know at the end of the day that's probably not good. I probably will. But so I'm excited to hear I've seen your write up. I'm excited to hear more about who you like and the props that you're going to take. So I'm looking forward to getting into it.
It's a much more subdued version of what I heard backstage. You were quite angry about the Super Bowl matchup.
Yeah, so. Give it some time. I'll get there.
All right. Because you like, I don't know if you ever saw the movie Clue. It's one of I think my favorite movie of all time. You sound like Mrs. White there. We like flames on the side of my face. Well, maybe we'll get a preview of that coming up. Well, please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit the link in the description for the merch store. All that mean a lot to us. If you really want to help support the show, please hit subscribe because we're closing in on 4,000 subs. I think we are 56 shy. So to get there by the Super Bowl, we have to get there in 3 days. So please hit subscribe.
14 a day. How many? It's less than one every hour.
Yes. Well, hopefully we get there, and I don't have to beg too much on Twitter. I started the begging a little bit. It hasn't gone too extreme yet. But maybe we'll make some fake accounts to get there. But please do that so we can maybe get there. And also, if you want to help support the show with super chats, that would be really appreciated because, as I always say, we don't make any money off YouTube ads. It's pretty pathetic. Maybe like around Christmas time, we're making $5 an episode. We're living large. Now it's like $1.50 an episode. We're not earning anything. So it would really mean a lot to us to help the show keep going. We had a great super chat from Alan Stafford on Tuesday for $10. That was pretty great. So any help would be really appreciated. All right, so we have a question here from Slim Red Eye. Says, can you tell us Reed and Shanahan records are straight up and against the spread with 2 weeks to prepare like a bye in the regular season? I will look that up as Tom is talking about his pick.
We know. I think we. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Walt. Didn't we just look up Andy Reid? Because remember with the Eagles for the longest time, he was undefeated after the bye until his last season in Philadelphia, and they lost to the Falcons. I remember that pretty well. I'm pretty sure I'm correct because when they lost to the Falcons and Andy Reid's last year in Philadelphia, I remember thinking when they lost after the bye, like the writing's on the wall, this is going to be his last year, and I ended up being right. Mm-hmm. But I think since then with the Chiefs, he hasn't been as good. So I'm interested to see Shanahan. I don't know as much on, but I'm interested to see what Andy Reid's record is. But while you're looking that up, so yeah, Mike Cardle is saying you're with me on this yawn matchup. I'll tell you, it's such a strange matchup to me. I never expected the Chiefs to be here, and for as poorly as they played at times, and all the chances that especially the Ravens and the Bills had to put them away in their last two playoff games. I'm just absolutely shocked that they're here in the first place. And the 49ers. I'm sorry to any 49ers fans. I hate the 49ers. I hope they crash and burn in the Super Bowl. I really do. I can't stand this team. I am pulling for the Chiefs, and I do think that they're going to win this game. So I like them +2, maybe for 3 or 4 units. I mean, if you look at this 49ers team, I mean, compared to the Chiefs, they faced two teams in my Packers and the Lions who are young and unproven teams. I mean, come on, the Packers, I never at any point thought that they were going to make the playoffs, let alone win a playoff game against a strong Dallas team. And they should have. That's the thing. The 49ers could have and probably should have lost both of those games. You can easily make that argument. And I know that you mentioned on your write-up in the site, Walt, especially against the Packers, the missed pick sixes that, really could have, obviously made a huge difference in the outcome of that game. The helmet catch, that Ayuk had that really sunk the Lions. Geez, when he made that catch, I knew that they were going to lose the game. That really sucked. But I just think, the Chiefs, even though the Bills and the Ravens kind of gave the game away to them, they're much more veteran squads, as compared to the Lions and the Packers. The Chiefs have faced tougher opponents. They have obviously much more experience. So I'm going to take them, I think, for about 3 or 4 units, +2 or even on the money line here. And I really hope they win. As a Packers fan, I can't stand the 49ers. I will be really upset if they win this game. So call me slightly biased, but I'll be on the Chiefs.
John asking, did Kyle Shanahan steal your patio furniture or something?
Well, you got this was the PG version of the rant. Walt can vouch. I was.
I know. It's saving it for the show, and then we get the subdued Tom.
We'll see. It's early on yet.
Okay, so I looked up the numbers. I don't know if you guys can see the screen here. Andy Reid off a bye with the Chiefs only is 14-5 straight up, 9-10 against the spread. He wins by an average of 26.5 to 20.4. He's on a streak of 1-3, 1-5, 2-6 in his past 8 against the spread. However, 6-2 straight up in that same stretch. So what basically happened was the sportsbooks kind of overcorrected for his bye week because everyone now knows that Andy Reid is amazing off the bye. So the lines for the Chiefs are so priced up for whenever they're coming off a bye, and so you're paying this absurd tax to bet on the Chiefs coming off a bye. So that's why they're great straight up and not against the spread anymore. However, I don't think they're priced up for this matchup. It feels like the 49ers are priced up, if anything. I kind of talked about that on Tuesday. 49ers, meanwhile, off a bye with Kyle Shanahan, 6-4 straight up, 4-6 against the spread. They win by an average of 22.1 to 18.5. They're also cooling off recently, 1-3 in their previous 4 against the spread, but 3-1 straight up. So it looks like they've been priced up as well. As a classic example of that was in the divisional round against the Packers. They're 10.5 point favorites. They barely survived. As you said, they scraped by the Packers and the Lions. Very lucky to be here. I completely agree with that. Whereas the Chiefs have played a lot better than they have during the regular season. It's kind of I feel like it's such a disappointing Super Bowl because you have the Niners who should have been beaten twice, especially by the Lions, who had a 17-point lead in the second half. And then you have the Chiefs who just kind of floundered throughout the whole regular season, just looked terrible at times. They lost to the Raiders at home. They couldn't score at all. It's just it's a very, very meh team. It's just very I don't even know how to describe it otherwise. Just meh. They were just did not look like they're gonna even compete for a Super Bowl. And it's kind of surprising that they're here, but they've raised their level of play a lot in the playoffs, and they've looked impressive. They clobbered the Dolphins. I know the Dolphins had those injuries and they're playing the cold, but it wasn't competitive at all. The Ravens, they completely shut down. Lamar Jackson looks so frustrated. The Chiefs defense has been great. Say what you want about the offense, which is kind of still sluggish, even though it's been better. But the defense has been amazing. So they frustrated Lamar Jackson. The Bills could have beaten them, though. You could argue that for sure. But in the other 2 games, the Chiefs were the more dominant team by a wide margin. So I'm kind of surprised that the 49ers are favored, although maybe not, because they've been favored by way too many points in their 2 playoff games. I think people still remember those big wins they had in the regular season, especially against the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. And I said this on Tuesday. Since that win against Dallas on Sunday Night Football, the 49ers are 5-9 against the spread. They haven't covered an impressive game. Their covers were, off the top of my head, I could probably look it up, but against the Eagles, who kind of self-destructed down the stretch. The Jaguars are also self-destructed down the stretch. The Seahawks on Thanksgiving, when Geno Smith was like, we didn't know if he was going to play. Yeah, he was hurt. Like, we didn't even know he was going to play. We thought it was going to be Drew Lock. The other two was against Washington and Arizona, like two of the worst teams in the NFL. So they have not had an impressive cover against a team that had been playing well. So, like, if they cover the spread here, this is going to be the first time that's happened since week 6 against the Cowboys. So, wow. I mean, sure, it could happen, but I think the Chiefs are better overall. I think they have the better quarterback for sure. They have the better defense, I think, and they definitely have the better coach. I like Kyle Shanahan, don't get me wrong, but Andy Reid is on a level on his own. And Andy Reid, as we see with that 14-5 straight up record, and all he needs to do is win straight up because he's an underdog. Like, I mean, he's just so great with time off. So I think it's just a big advantage for the Chiefs. I wish we were getting +3. 3 obviously the key number here, but +2, I still like him quite a bit. It's gonna be like a 3 or maybe 4 unit bet for me, but definitely 3.
Yeah, I think the 49ers, especially in the last handful of seasons. I mean, since we last saw the Super Bowl matchup, how many times have they? I mean, they've just always been a dominant team who wins the games that they're supposed to win, and usually handily. Speaking more in the regular season, but even, I mean, as a Packers fan, I mean, they cruised into the Super Bowl last time they played the Chiefs. I mean, they 37-20, they crushed the Packers, and it wasn't even that close. They've always beaten the teams that they're supposed to beat, like I said, and often handily. That just hasn't seemed to be the case this year. It's like you mentioned that game against Washington. They were only up by 3. At halftime? I think it took them to the fourth quarter to cover. It's just something's. Obviously they're still a very strong team, and they showed that they were resilient in a way. Now the Packers and the Lions both made their fair share of mistakes, more so the Lions, but so they have showed that they're a resilient team. Coming back in the second half in both of those games. But something's different. They just, I think everyone, because of the way they've played in the last handful of years, like, oh, they'll bounce back. I've heard that a lot. They'll bounce. Well, I mean, when have they bounced back this year? Like, I mean, I just, of course, like you said, it could happen, but I'm hard pressed. I have seen no visual aid, no evidence to suggest that all of a sudden it's going to happen, especially against a team as experienced as Kansas City. So, yeah, I'm with you. I really like Kansas City, and if you're in the conspiracy Taylor Swift, side of it, which, at this point, at the beginning of the season, I cared. I don't care anymore. But, the Chiefs are the more experienced team. I definitely think that they're now in the playoffs, they've upped their level of play. They're playing more consistently. So hopefully they come through. I'd much rather see Taylor Swift wearing a Super Bowl ring than the 49ers winning it. Please don't let that happen. So sorry 49ers fans, but hey.
Wow, that's saying a lot, because you were on the anti Taylor Swift bandwagon early on.
Yeah. It's for the views. It's for the views.
Yeah, right. Some comments here. John says he won with Flacco at 5-1 to comeback player of the year, figuring he beat the closest thing we have to a zombie. I thought Baker Mayfield would win. I think Flacco's a good option as well. It seems like everyone bet on DeMar Hamlin, but like he did barely played, so you can't really give to him. Zombie. Okay. I was wondering if that was a reference. I was like, zombie was that? So it's just a mistake. Can't Make an Eagle says, if Chiefs score first, win the first quarter, and leads at half, have a great day. Run Pacheco, run. Yeah, it could happen. I think the Chiefs could get out to a lead and not score in the second half. Like we saw that against Baltimore. They just kind of sit on the ball and have these 7 or 8 minute drives and just take the life out of the game. Just not a fun team to watch at all. Yeah. So I wanted Detroit to be in the Super Bowl because they match up so well against the Chiefs, because Mahomes, as Tony Romo pointed out, is great against zone defenses, and the Niners play a lot of zone. The Lions play a lot of man too. So I thought that Detroit could limit him, and obviously they could score a lot on the Chiefs. And they run the ball. They love to run the ball, and they could run on the Chiefs. So I thought they would win against the Chiefs again, as they did in the regular season opener. So just a shame that they didn't make it. Alex says, I heard someone bet $100 on the Chiefs to score exactly 2 points at 10,000 to 1. So if the Niners win like 20-2, and we can congratulate that person on becoming extremely rich. But I think he threw $100 away, to be honest.
There's only one team, unless that I know of, and it was not all that long ago, that scored exactly 2 points in any playoff game. Do you know who it was?
It was Atlanta, wasn't it?
Nice, damn, yeah, 21-2 against they lost to the Giants.
Yeah.
In the 2011-2012 season. The Giants went on to win the Super Bowl that year. Damn, good knowledge, Walt.
Oh, thank you.
That was scoregami, and I saw on DraftKings it was 20-1 for the game to be scoregami. So, I mean, if the Chiefs score exactly 2 points, that's definitely going to be scoregami. So,
we've had so much scoregami. I'm like over it. I'll be excited about scoregami when we get a 6-1 result or 8-1 result. Like that's that's the dream, I think, for scoregami. Like as soon as that happens, it's all over, because like that is the most unlikely result that we'll ever see. But
what could happen in the video? There's like it's bound to happen like once every like 1 billion years or something, or like 50 million. It's something really insane.
It's so hard because, like, first of all, you need to score the 1 point, which hasn't happened. Like the 1 point play, like extremely rare 1 point play, hasn't happened in our lifetime or anyone's lifetime. And then they have to stay on one; they can't score again. Yeah. That's like the toughest part. So,
Alex, that made me think. I had a buddy Pat. Actually, do you remember your Halloween party in 2013? It was my buddy Pat that I brought to the party. Because he showed me the ticket. A friend of his bet. It was first score of the game. Seahawks safety, and when they beat the Broncos.
Nice.
I think it was 50-1, and he put 1,000 on it. I mean, the guy must have had money to burn. I mean, it was a bet 1,000 on the first score to be a safe. But yeah, that first play went right over Peyton Manning's head. That was scoregami, 43-8. That was an interesting score.
I want asking, how do you score only 1 point? It's if you score a safety on a 2 point conversion, it's 1 point. So what basically would have to happen is the team scores a touchdown and they either go for 2 or try to kick an extra point, and the whatever it is blocked or intercepted. The team takes it back the other way before they score. They fumble, and then the other team picks it up, and then they try to run, but they take a safety. Then like the other team would score 1 point. So like the team that scores a touchdown would have 6, and then the other team would get 1 point off the safety. Exactly. It is extremely unlikely to happen because like you have to run all the way down the field, fumble, the other team has to pick it up, and then get tackled in the end zone. So like it's like very difficult to happen, but it can happen. It's in the rule book. So that's why I say like 6-1 or 8-1. You can't actually get 7-1 out of it because you need a touchdown. 8-1 you can get with a safety and then a touchdown to get 8, and then you get the conversion safety. So 8-1 is possible, 6-1 is possible, 7-1's not impossible. You just can't get it. So,
I won. There is also there is a 1 point safety for the team going for the point after. It happened it was Chip Kelly's last year at Oregon in their bowl game. Did they play? I think maybe Washington or maybe it was Kansas State. I think it was Kansas State. But Oregon, Oregon won the game handily. It was Chip Kelly's last year before he went to the Eagles. They went for the point after, the extra point. It got blocked. Kansas State recovered it in the end zone that they were kicking towards and got tackled in that end zone, and it was a 1 point safety for Oregon.
Right.
So for the 6-1 to happen, the other team would have to run it all the way back, and the original, like Walt said, the original kicking team would have to recover it in that other end zone and get tackled. So, so even the one that did happen is so unlike. I remember the ref too. He like went on the mic. He's like, "We have an unusual ruling." I remember I watched that live actually. So
yeah, you can get 1 point easily in CFL, but in NFL it's like never been done. So it can. It's in the rule book though. It can be done. It's like one of those rare rules where like you get the one that like people bring up like once a year or twice a year is like free kick after free catch. Or it's like if you signal for a free catch at the end of the half or whatever, you get a free kick for a field goal. Like no one knows about that, but they bring it up sometimes, but then no one brings up the conversion safety because it's so impossible.
Hey, go ahead.
No, you go. I was going to read more comments. You go.
Yeah, I've got a couple. I heard this a long time ago. Well, maybe like at least 5 years ago. I heard like these murmurs, or like I guess not murmurs, rumors rather, that there was going to be a 3-point conversion where you either you couldn't get one, like if you have to decide, okay, we're going for 3, and what would have to happen? Score the touchdown, you get a successful 2-point conversion, and then you have to kick a 50-yard field goal. And if you can make both the 2-pointer and the 50-yarder, then you get 3. You don't get one or the other. It's all or nothing with the 3. I don't know how I feel about that one, but there is one. I don't know if I heard this or I made it up. Either way, or I came up with it on my own. Instead of the onside kick, what if it was just like one play, like you convert, like, I don't know, a 4th and 15 or a 4th and 20 or something equivalent to whatever the onside, the percentage of whatever yardage it would be on a 4th down, whatever a close equivalent to the percentage chance of recovering an onside kick. What would you think about either of those ideas there, Walt?
Well, I don't like the gimmicky, we have to do this and then we have to do that. And because I feel like that opens the door for like, oh, let's do these 5 things and we'll get 4 points. Like, I don't know. I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
I always thought that like a 2-point conversion, it made sense. But then if you get a 3-point conversion instead of the going for it at the 2, maybe go for it at the 20. I think it should be extremely rare and very difficult to get. So I wouldn't mind seeing that, like a 3-point conversion from the 20, but it would have to be very difficult. Not even like the 15. Super chat from Kevin Kovac.
You, Kevin.
I really appreciate it, Kevin. Wow, $20 super chat. This is awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
He says, I've been reading your content since 2006. Wow, that's a long time. Thanks so much for reading that long. And I think that's the year before I started doing it full time. I started doing it full time when I was fired from my job at a mortgage company in 2007. I was let go, and the company went under 6 months later. They just weren't doing well at that time. But
you're a valuable asset, clearly. So
yeah, exactly right. They fell apart without me. Yeah, I made 0 sales, but like no one made sales in the company. It was after the housing crisis. Like no one was getting qualified or anything like that. It was just a miserable experience. But yeah, it was like no surprise the company went under because they couldn't get any mortgages. But anyway, he says, first time I've seen this. I like the After Dark concept. RIP Pac-12. Listening while working late. Cheers. I feel like a lot of people don't know about the After Dark show. But it's awesome that you're joining us for the first time and hopefully more often. So
yeah, thank you so much, Kevin.
Yeah, really appreciate it, Kevin. Thanks.
Yeah, that reminds me, right. So remember Toys R Us? They closed in like January 2018. I worked a seasonal job at Toys R Us for like 6 weeks from like Thanksgiving to, a little bit before Thanksgiving to Christmas in 2017. And then I left and I went back to school and then it went under. So we're in the same boat. As soon as I left working for Toys R Us, they went under too. So we have something in common there, Walt.
You're the reason it went under. They fired you. You're like the glue that was holding everything together. And it was like
stocking the shelves overnight. I was
actually they brought Toys R Us back. I think Macy's bought the branding, and so
did they really?
If you go into a Macy's, they have Toys R Us sections. Now I actually saw it when I went to the mall to take pictures with Santa with the 2 kids. And we went into Macy's to get the kids changed into their pajamas. And like, as I was waiting, I was like walking around. I saw like a Toys R Us section. I'm like, well, Toys R Us. But yeah, Macy's bought Toys R Us. So that actually still exists, not in its own store, but in Macy's. So,
oh, wow.
So hey, not like a huge section, but
what do you think the cutoff age is for like going to see like or like believing in Santa Claus or here for a Super Bowl show, you're getting Santa Claus chat real quick. Well, like how old, like what's the age appropriate, like when you tell like kids that I'm trying to think, I think I was like 8 or 9 when my parents told me.
Yeah. I found out at recess. I think I was like 7 or something or 8. And I was like, he said something about Santa and like someone's like, oh, you still think Santa is real? I'm like, I guess it makes sense that he's not real. And then like, I was that was it.
And that was it. I remember at the mall, like near me growing up in Pennsylvania, they used to remember those like 12-pack of like mini cereals. It was like a variety of cereals, like the small boxes. And if you went and sat on Santa's lap, like you would get one for free. So I remember I was like long past like the age of like when any kid should be. I was probably like 11. I was like, no, I want the cereal. So I was like, I'll bite the bullet. I don't care. But Yeah, I was wondering that. I think I was like 8 or 9, but anyhow.
11 you could pull it off. It'd be funny to see like a 19 or 20-year-old on Santa's lap. Or like a 41-year-old. Like that'd be pretty funny.
Well, hey, I mean, if they're still giving away the free cereal, they might get a 37-year-old in there. So it depends. Times is tough, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure. I love free cereal, and in this economy, you can't get enough of it. So
exactly.
So yeah. Anyway, thanks so much, Kevin, for the super chat.
I appreciate it, Kevin. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah. So I had an idea for Toys R Us before Macy's bought it. I thought like they could go virtual and like you could be inside the store without there being a store, and like you could walk around and look at all the toys and like pick out things you want. It's for the kids, you could put like VR goggles on them, and like they could like play with the toys there and like pick out something they want, and then like you'd be like, okay, add to cart, and then you just get it shipped to your house. Like I thought that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh, that is a pretty decent idea. It's just like Jeffrey the Giraffe and the song, the Toys R Us kids song, like growing up. I don't know. It's just like so much nostalgic value for us, older crowd, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, it's awesome. Like my birthday or Christmas, like I used to go with my dad, my mom, and my dad would be like, okay, here, you have $100 limit, buy whatever you want. I'm like, okay. I used to try to like budget everything. Like it was awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Okay. Let's see. Not a good bet with their field goal kicker. Should have given it to charity. Yeah, we're talking about that 2-point exact bet. John says if Dallas hires Rex Ryan, the Cowboys will score exactly 1 point in their yearly playoff elimination game. I could definitely see that. Mike saying 1 point safeties is just one of the myriad reasons I stay up for this podcast for Thursday. Yeah, thanks, Mike, for joining us. Yeah, it's a
myriad of reasons indeed. You never know.
Alex says Arthur Smith seems like the most logical coach to try to scheme up the 1 point play. Yeah, he'll do it with like the third string running back. Sue says, due to the poor starts in their last two, I sense the 49ers will not hold anything back early in an effort to not find themselves down 2-3 scores. With 2 weeks to prepare can show many new wrinkles. Thoughts? Maybe, but like maybe there's just something wrong with them. I mean, they had 2 weeks to prepare for the Green Bay game, and we saw them come out like really flat. So, and really it was really 3 weeks to prepare because the final regular season game, they didn't play their starters. So, actually, like Ayuk and Samuel played like a half for some reason. But like they didn't really scheme against the Rams because it was Carson Wentz. So yeah, they had 3 weeks to prepare, and we saw them flat. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see new wrinkles, but the Chiefs have a great defense, so it's going to be tough for them to do much. I love Christian McCaffrey. For DFS, even if you play him captain and like play 5 Chiefs in the flex, I think you can get away with that. Like if you have like McCaffrey doing everything for the 49ers and then a bunch of Chiefs scoring points, I think that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, outside of McCaffrey, I don't know how the Niners like do much, So, Mike says Walt took up sports betting the day after he learned about Santa. Yeah, it's probably true. Actually, that is about the time I started getting into sports. So that might be true. Actually,
same.
Yeah. And Sue says, I wonder if Walt Santa moonlight as a bookie back in the day.
Yeah. That's why all the parents came to him. They were paying him off.
Right, you sit on his lap and like some money for the bets. Yeah. I wanted to look at the injury reports before we get to props. I don't know what we have. We have Wednesday and Thursday data for the Chiefs. So Clyde Edwards-Helaire is an illness. Every time an illness pops up, it sets off a red flag. It's like I look for illnesses elsewhere on the team. Doesn't look like we have any. But like if I saw like 3 or 4 illnesses pop up, I'm like, okay, this team might have the flu, but maybe it's like a stomach virus or something. Jerick McKinnon is limited. I don't know how much he's going to play. That might eat into Pacheco, but coming off an injury with especially soft tissue groin, I don't think he's going to do much. Rashee Rice full to limited is a bit of concern. Like I'd be shocked if he doesn't play, but let's see what happens on Friday. If he's limited again, or even worse, DMP, then might be scary. Joe Tooney, DMP, their best offensive lineman, but the Chiefs have a great backup, Allegretti, so not a concern. For the 49ers, we have Eric Armstead limited. again, I'd be surprised if he doesn't play. George Kittle limited, same thing. Trent Williams is just resting. So, okay. So nothing, I don't think anything to really change my mind here. If Rashee Rice was out, like randomly, I'd lower my unit count for sure. But right now it doesn't change anything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Go ahead. You're gonna say something?
Oh no, I didn't. I'm anxious to hear your props.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know if you have anything. I talked about them on Thursday, but I can go over them again for those who are listening for the first time. Did you want to mention anything first, or should I get to mine?
Yeah, I've got one for you, and maybe those of you in the chat can help me out. Has anyone found and if, on any book, and if so, tell me one of these novelty props, how many jets there will be in the flyover? Let me know if you've seen that before I tell you what. Usually I don't. Some people like the Gatorade color or coin toss, national anthem, that sort of thing. I never really John Sanders. I never really touched those novelty props like that. Thank you for the super chat, John. We appreciate you. Wonder who it's from. But someone told me, I don't think this is one I've seen before, the over under how many jets will be in the flyover. So if anyone's seen that, let me know. But let's just say I like the over, and I have it on decent authority that the over will. Because I swear I saw someone told me it was like 3.5 or 4.5. If it's 3.5 or 4.5, take the over. I'll be taking the over. So for whatever that's worth to you. Again, typically, if I didn't have it on decent authority, I would never touch anything like that. That's like, have you ever bet like an even or odd points? Like bet. My cousin always jokes with me. He's like, bet the even or odd. It's like, there's just like no like rhyme or reason to like how that could really happen. I guess. I mean, unless you thought it was, I don't know. But yeah, typically I wouldn't touch this. But if it's 3.5 or 4.5 on the Jets, I have to look around and find a book because Hard Rock down here in Florida doesn't have anything like that. But let me know because I want to find out so I can take it. But that's the prop that I'm hanging my hat on the most for this game, and I think there's a couple others that I might like as well. But that's the one that I really like the most here.
When you started saying Jets, I thought like Aaron Rodgers, but okay. So
no, that'll be 0.
So Alex asking, do they still do flyovers and dome games? I suppose they do, right? I mean,
yeah.
I don't. I mean, it's can't you see out of the? It's like they have like windows there, right? Like it's not like the one of those classic domes, I think, right? I've never been to that stadium, but I think you can see out of it. But
yeah, I don't know. I feel like they've always done it. I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, I don't know. Usually with the Super Bowl, I wait. I just wait till the game starts. I wait till I know when the game's going to start because it's and that's the thing. I don't want to get on a soapbox here with the Super Bowl. It's like, the commercials and there's 18 years of lead up to it. It's like, for the love of everything that is sacred, start the freaking game. Like, it's just like, oh, by the way, there's a football game. And I get it. Everyone's watching. There's there's money to be made. I'm not that dumb. But I mean, sorry, Quacky ran here, but like, for the love of God, let's play some freaking football. Like, I can't stand that about that. And I won't watch a halftime show either. I'm done with halftime shows. Maybe because when I was in high school, I did the marching band. So maybe I'm traumatized. I have halftime trauma. I don't want to watch. It's going to be some stupid artist I don't care about anyway. Probably. Well, I don't even know who's doing it this year.
That's Usher. You're not looking forward to Usher?
Usher? No, I refuse. Because I'm a real pretentious son of a bitch. But like, I can't hang. It's too long. I just want to watch the game. But it has to be commercialized. I understand that. So anyway,
they make so much money off their commercials. Like they need to. Like that's their cash cow, I guess. But anyway, John with the 9/11 super chat from an anonymous NFL head coach. He/she, love the she there, wants to know what your favorite prop bet is for the Super Bowl. Okay, so let's. I'll go through my props. I like Tom's Jets. Was it over 3.5 or 4.5 Jets, whatever it is? I couldn't find it anywhere. Well, you told me before the show. I'm not like I haven't looked all over the place. I couldn't find it on FanDuel at least because that's the only sportsbook I'd open. But I'll be looking for Jets over. So that sounds like a good one. So my props here: Chiefs by 1 to 6, 49ers 1 to 6. You can't win both, but they're plus 333, plus 310. So, you're hoping to win one. I think it's going to be a close game. Be surprised if it's a blowout. Even if it's one team's winning by 10 or 17, I think there's going to be some sort of a comeback and it will be close by the end. So this is a scheme I do every Super Bowl, unless I think it's going to be like very lopsided. I like Isaiah Pacheco over 66.5 rushing yards. He's cleared that in every game thus far in the playoffs, and the Niners are pretty weak to the run. They're below average according to EPA, and like people don't realize that because they haven't given up enough rushing yards this year to like maybe make people concerned about that. But that's because they've been leading by a lot over bad teams. So I think Pacheco's that number is pretty short. I like that a lot.
And how do you feel about it if McKinnon is back though? Do you still feel? I mean,
yeah. Well, I think we might see a lower number. But like I said, I don't think McKinnon is going to play that much of a role. If anything, McKinnon might take away some receptions from Pacheco, but I don't think he's going to take rushing attempts, especially coming off a groin injury. Like he might be on the field for like 3 to 5 snaps or something. He might get 35 touches. I mean, but like most of those might be in like the 2-minute drill or something like that. So I don't think it's not a threat. And like I said, you might get you might get a discount on Pacheco's rushing yards. So you can wait on that before kickoff. And if McKinnon's healthy and ready to go, you might see like a 61.5 or 62.5. So I like the over either way. Travis Kelce over 6.5 receptions. He's gone over in 2 of the 3 playoff games thus far, and like he's trying hard again. He looked like over the hill and just dead like during the regular season, but apparently he was just distracted by Taylor Swift. So I guess he's like focused now, and like his increased level of play is one of the major reasons why the Chiefs are a lot better in the playoffs. I like Noah Gray over 1.5 receptions. He's got 5 passes in the past 2 games. Seems like Mahomes is relying on him, so I think he'll catch 2 or 3 passes. I like that. Brock Purdy under 1.5 passing touchdowns. He's gotten 1. He's multiple touchdowns in 1 of his past 4 games. So I think he's going to go under. Chiefs have a great pass defense too. Let's see here. Brock Purdy over 0.5 an interception. He's been so lucky not to throw interceptions in the playoffs. The Packers dropped 2. The Lions had that 1 go off the guy's helmet. He's been very lucky. So I think that variance might catch up to him. Probably my favorite prop, Brandon Ayuk under 63.5 receiving yards. I think L'Jarius Sneed is going to be on him. Deebo Samuel, he might get some attention, but like Samuel's like he lines up all over the place. He gets carries. Like I think it's harder to shadow Deebo Samuel than it is Brandon Ayuk. So I think Brandon Ayuk is going to go under here. And the Chiefs are amazing against number 1 receivers. They're not so good against number 2 receivers. So I think Samuel might have a good game. But Ayuk, I think, will go under receiving yards 63.5. And then my 3 MVP picks, and Tom, you mentioned conspiracy theories with certain narratives. Travis Kelce 17-1 on FanDuel. Now Mahomes obviously the favorite if the Chiefs win MVP, but like Mahomes won MVP and Super Bowl MVP last year, so there might be some voter fatigue. And if I'm right about Kelce having a great game, like 7 or more catches, what if he catches both touchdowns in this game? I think that the media and everyone voting for the game might give it to Kelce. So like maybe that'll be the opportunity for him to propose to Taylor Swift as like people are speculating. He's accepting the MVP award, and he's like this means nothing to me. I want, and he gets down on one knee or something like that. Something stupid.
Yeah.
Like can't you see that happening? I don't know. Like I think that Kelce winning 17-1 is pretty good. Pacheco 35-1 I like as well, because the Niners are weaker to the run than the pass. And like, what if this is like a 20-17 grinder where like Pacheco scores both touchdowns? Like you kind of have to give it to him, right?
Right.
So I think there's a way for Pacheco to win MVP, and 35-1 I think is pretty good. And my super long shot, Chris Jones, 140-1. He's one of the best defensive players in the NFL, and like he could dominate the interior line of scrimmage. Like the Niners, they've the best left tackle in the NFL, Trent Williams, future Hall of Famer, first ballot. But like their interior blocking is really bad. So I think Chris Jones could dominate. If this is a very low scoring game, like 16-13 or something like that, or it's like something that we saw with like the Rams Patriots, and like Chris Jones gets a couple sacks and forces a fumble, recovers it. And if he scores a defensive touchdown, forget about it. And it's that sort of game. But like if he just dominates the line of scrimmage and like has a huge game, you can get it at 140-1. So like very, very long shot there. So those are my 3 MVP picks. So and all my props in general. So for John asking about the my favorite prop, I think it's Ayuk right now. And if McKinnon does not play, I think I like Pacheco even more over 6.5.
Yeah, I think I am going to take Kelsey and Chris Jones, the 140-1. I think that's definitely some good value there. Hey, I like what Alex is saying here. The best novelty might be which location in Vegas where Taylor and Travis get married. I get married at the Chapel O' Love. Do you know what movie that's from?
No, I don't.
If anyone from the, I'll give you 20 quacky coins if you can tell. I get married at the Chapel O' Love. We'll see if anyone gets it. Yeah, I'm surprised that's not on there, Alex.
I'm not.
There's one like chapel like right across from, I think, from the Mandalay Bay there. That was not too far from the stadium, so maybe. Boom, John Sanders, you just got 20 quacky coins. Back to the Future Part 2. Very good, very good.
I haven't seen that in so long. I love that movie, but I haven't seen it forever. What was I gonna say? No, when my now wife and I were in Vegas one year. I think it's the first time we ever went to Vegas. Or maybe like not the first time, it was like the second time. No, it was the first time. We went to Circus because like, you know, when you drive on the highway, like you see the circus tent or whatever, you're like, whoa, what's that? And so like we wanted to see what it was. It's a stupid casino where they have like arcade games and whatnot and like stuff. But the Circus has a chapel in it. And my wife was like, or my then girlfriend or fiance, whatever, was like, it's like, hey, well, we should get married here. Circus. I can't imagine how pissed my mom would be, or would if like we came home and it was like, hey, we're not getting married. And traditionally we got married at Circus. You know.
I heard that's actually for all the time, because I lived in Vegas for a short while too, and I spent a lot of time out there for a previous job. That's actually one casino I never went to. I heard that place was like kind of not sketchy, but like sort of run, like a little more run down.
Yeah, it's a dump. Yeah, it's not great.
Oh, it's a dump.
Yeah.
Not pulling any punches here. Yeah, I should check it out though, just for the for the experience. But
if you like video games, arcade games, like playing skee ball, whatever, like, I mean you could do that anywhere. Like, why would you do that in Vegas? But like you can do it there if you want to have like that sort of fun. Like we just went there to check it out. Like we were there for a couple hours.
Yeah. But I guess if you bring your like, for all the time I spent in Vegas, sometimes you see like families there with like young kids. It's like, why are you? I don't know. I'm just like, it just doesn't seem like a place for kids. I guess that's where you can. Maybe it's where you can hang out as a family, stuff for kids to do since they can't gamble and whatnot. But
yeah, I mean, I never understood why people bring their kids to Vegas. Like, I get it if you're doing a trip like through Vegas, if you're like driving through and you're spending the night, I understand that. But like, to like just to take a family vacation to Las Vegas doesn't make much sense to me. I just like it's a horrible place for kids. Like I sometimes see like downtown Vegas, like old Vegas, where like you see all sorts of like rowdy, like shady stuff and like weird people like barely clothed, and like I see so many people like with their like toddlers and stuff like that, like walking them with strollers, and like like, what are you doing? Like, what kind of parenting is this to like bring kid down here? Like, it's one thing to go to the Strip, but like this old Vegas, like that, I'd never bring my kids there.
Yeah,
Like,
the thing. I mean, I guess it's not like some sketchy areas are too far from the Strip either necessarily, but Old Vegas, yeah, it's like 2 blocks away. Like you better. Where did I stay at the Spike, the Golden Spike? I think one time it was like the cheapest place I could find. And I was like, I mean, I wasn't like scared or anything, but I was like, oh, geez, I didn't realize like it was that bad. But I don't know. I used to live across the street. I used to live in this apartment complex across the street from the Rio. And it's like, and if especially like, and I could walk there like easily, but like if I went there and like I was gambling and I, especially if I won, I was like, I called an Uber back. Like I wasn't pulling any punches, but yeah, old Vegas is a little more risky for sure. But
if I lived across from the Rio, I'd be the fattest dude alive because of the buffet they have there. It's so good.
I actually never went to the buffet there.
Well, that would explain why you're not the fattest man alive.
Well, I'm close, so
I'm closer. Believe me, I used to be in such great shape. I remember when I got back from Colorado visiting my girlfriend in 2012. I remember weighing myself intentionally because I couldn't eat in the altitude. It really affected me. And like I lost like 12 pounds. I was down to I was like 150 something. Like now I'm like 210. And like actually, well, for my wedding too, I was like 205. And I got tailored, and then I was like, oh, I'm gonna lose some weight. So like I actually lost like 35 to 40 pounds ahead of my wedding, and then like I was getting dressed for the big day, and like the suit was so baggy on me. Like, what happened? I'm like oh crap, I got tailored to 210. I'm like, no, I'm like 165 now. like
it didn't look bad though. I don't think. I mean,
I thought it looked hard. I thought it looked horrible. Like if you look at my wedding pictures, like my wife looks great. Like I look like a little kid wearing a baggy suit, like for a bar mitzvah or something. Like it was bad because I got tailored at 210. I weighed 165 at the end. Yeah, wow. It's horrible.
What's the name of the place that we went? For anyone who's seen the video on, I think it's on YouTube of the Heart Attack Grill. Is that where it's or they?
Yeah, the Heart Attack Grill. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we were. I'm the one that took that video. In fact, where if you don't finish your if you weigh over? Isn't it if you weigh like over 400 pounds, you eat for free?
It's $350. A Heart Attack Grill in Las Vegas. It's in Old Vegas. It's a burger joint that has like onion rings and French fries, and whatnot as well. But like. Yeah. They have a scale outside the restaurant, and like you step on it and like it shows your weight. And if you weigh 350 or more, you eat there for free. The catch is if you order a meal and don't finish it, you get spanked by a nurse wearing like slutty clothes, like the slutty nurse's outfit. And so you could search that on this YouTube channel. You say Walt gets spanked by a hot nurse in Las Vegas. And yeah, Tom was the one who filmed it. I was there with Tom and my now wife. It was a good time. I actually wanted to get spanked because I wanted to feel like see what it felt like. So like I intentionally did not finish my food.
I remember that. Well, that was.
I was like, I want to get spanked. It hurt.
It was 2016. I was 2016.
Yep.
God, it seems like forever ago now.
I know. It's good times.
2016. That was a good time.
Yeah, we got pretty smashed. I remember that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Oh, that was in my drinking heyday. Oh my God. Yeah, I got.
Yeah,
and right before that, because I remember you and your wife were at the pool, and I was meeting you at the hotel, and you were like, hey, like we're still at the pool, it'd be like 20 or 30 minutes. I was like, all right, like no problem. I sat at the bar and I was playing video poker. I hit a royal flush on the video poker before we met up, and awesome. I think I won like $1,200, or it was $11.99 because it was $1 below what the amount you have to pay tax on, and I was like, dude, no way! Like this night's off to a great start. We had a great time, man. We had a great time. That was awesome.
Remember we got to Old Vegas and like they had these drinks in a football container.
Yeah, we got. Oh man, that was so much fun, man.
Yeah, you're like you have to get that. It was like I don't even know what it was. It was like this like alcoholic beverage in a football container. And I still have it. It's still in my kitchen. So.
Oh really?
Yeah, I bring it out sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, man. No, that was good. We met up there because I was out there in 2016 and 2017. We met up both times. Those were good times.
Yeah. I would love to do it again. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. So we have some comments here. John says the way the Chiefs season went wouldn't surprise me if Tony goes over 200 yards and
you know what?
touchdowns.
So. I don't know about that much, John, but I was thinking the same thing. I think there's going to be a player, and that y'all know I like MVS. There's going to be a player that you don't expect that's going to score like CE, like Edwards-Helaire or somebody, or I know like you like Noah Gray anytime touch, or was it over 1.5 or was it anytime touchdown?
Over 1.5 receptions.
Over 1.5, yeah. I think there's merit to that, John. I wouldn't. I felt the same way, like the way you worded it, like the way the season is going, it wouldn't surprise me either. I'll be ready to close the book on this season. I'll tell you what, as I've expressed in the last 2 shows. But anyhow, I digress.
Yeah, I like Tony for DFS. So without the DFS show on Saturday because we couldn't do one last night. I don't know if Kenny's going to join us, but even if he can, I'll fly solo and just give my thoughts on Showdown. I'll have some cool Showdown stats too. I pulled like an 80 game sample size of Showdown slates, and like I want to like relay the odds of like like a kicker being in the winning lineup, et cetera, like that. So I'll have some cool stats on Saturday. Michael says, "I got it.
Can't make it, and you want someone else on? I'll come on. I don't know how much help I'll be, but let me know."
Okay, awesome. Yeah, definitely. Okay. Mike says, "I got a great price on Debo MVP at 40-1 now, 25-1." If you think the Niners are going to win, I love Debo for MVP because he's someone who can score touchdowns without Brock Purdy getting him touchdowns. Like he can, like what if Purdy? Let's say, what if Samuel catches Purdy's only touchdown? And he runs in another touchdown with like one of those sweeps and the rounds that he does. Like he scores the 2 touchdowns and the Niners win. Like I think you're gold there. So I think it's 40-41 is a great number. 25-1 is not even that bad. So yeah, I like that a lot. So says books are scared of Walt's Ayuk prop. Caesars bet 365 and MGM have it down at 59.5. That's interesting. Looks like, yeah, it kind of makes sense to me that a lot of people are betting that. I think like they kind of caught on about the Chiefs being great against number 1 receivers. And like I said, I think it's like it really depends on if you think that Ayuk is going to be the number 1 receiver. Like it could be Samuel, but I really don't think so. I think it makes more sense for it to be Ayuk. I was actually trying to find his receiving yards prop on Odd Shopper. I can't find it, but
have you ever in your illustrious 20+ year career doing the site, have you ever made a pick and like the line, like did you ever think like I wonder if like me posting that made the line move?
A preseason bet. A preseason bet I made a few years ago. It was like a 5-unit bet. I posted on the site and then I bet it, and then like the line moved instantly, and I'm like, like did I do that or like was this something else? It could have been just coincidence, but
yeah. When I was when I used to do my daily sports picks, some people used to joke like I remember when I first started a year and a half ago doing the daily sports picks. I started out 20-5. I used to do 1 pick a day. I remember I came over to your house. I was like, dude, I can't believe this. I'm 20-5. Like this is like one of the best streaks I've ever had. And then people used to joke like I would make the pick and then like the line would move a little bit. They're like, oh, like Quacky's single-handedly moving the line. And I was like, yeah, I don't know about that much. But
yeah, you were on fire that summer. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah, that was and I mean really because I don't do the daily picks anymore. But I think overall I had I think we were up like 40, 1 pick a day up like 45 units. So that was awesome. Pretty good. We had
pretty good. Yeah, let's say so.
Well, for a lot of people, that's the thing. Like as I'm sure you found many times. Like sometimes I used to have a Discord. I have a Discord now for video games, but I used to have a Discord for sports betting. And like sometimes people like any given day they like like 4 NBA games and 5 NHL games. It's like I don't know So especially it being one pick a day for 40, I think that was pretty good. So yeah, I have my moments, contrary to popular belief. So
I like trying to it's like focusing in on one game. Like sometimes 2 if you really can't decide between 2, but like anything more than that, I feel like you're kind of like all over the place and just need to focus more. Mm-hmm. I feel like if you like too many games, kind of like a red flag, because like you aren't supposed to like that many games because like the line is priced appropriately for most games. Like sometimes, like the lines can be off for some games for sure, and like you have to try to find that, or like try to find an edge that like people don't know about. But like if you're like liking like half the games, it's like all right, hold on a second, like maybe I need to rethink this, or maybe you're just that good and like know these teams inside and out. But like I think that like really focusing on 1 or 2 games is the best. Yeah.
Agreed.
John says it's against the law to give a Chief other than Mahomes MVP if they win. The guy will probably find the last digit of pi before he retires. Yeah.
Nice.
It certainly feels that way, but like I don't know. I think you have to have voter fatigue at this point. All right. So Mike says, "Well, are you taking anyone to score 2 touchdowns?" I have not thought about it. I'm gonna pull it up right now. So you can see right here, McCaffrey's plus 230, Pacheco 5-1. Kelsey 6.5-1. That seems like the best one. You know, McCaffrey obviously has the best chances, but Kelsey 6.5-1 seems like the best. In that scenario where Debo wins MVP is 10-1. But like I feel like if he scores 2 touchdowns, like I would rather just bet him to win MVP. Like that's the problem here is like if you bet someone to score 2 touchdowns, like they're probably going to win MVP. So just bet them to win MVP at that point. Although I guess McCaffrey's has longer odds to win MVP as well. I think that's the case for every player on here. So if I take anyone, it would be Kelsey 650. But I don't really see anything else. Does anything stand out to you?
I'm gonna say MVS, but but I always say MVS. I actually wonder if there is some, especially in Kansas. So these are the odds for 2+ touchdowns.
Yeah.
I actually wonder if there might be merit. Hear me out here. It's the Kansas City defense at that. If they can get one early, and then think of all the drop pick sixes that we've seen or close interception. Could have been and probably should have been interceptions from Purdy. If they're coming down, if they're down late in the game, trying to put a drive together to tie it or come close, and there's another pick six at the end. Yeah, I mean, 2 defensive touchdowns. That's a tall order. I'm aware of that. But I mean, what is that? Plus 11,000 there. I mean, for the Chiefs, it might be some merit to that. But again, that's still a very tall order. But that might be decent value there. I don't know.
Yeah. Bagley saying, thinking about it a bit, wouldn't 10-1 be the hardest score to achieve? You need the original 6-1 plus 2 safeties. Yeah, that's a good one. I think 10-1 is like the holy grail of scoregami. Once that happens, I feel like scoregami's finished forever. Like 10-1, no more scoregami ever. That's the deal.
The sun's gonna explode before that happens.
I know.
Or remember, we brought it up many times, so you all probably heard this. But the 2004 Penn State Iowa was the homecoming game. The score is 6-4.
Yep.
Well, I mean, there's got to be some sort of mathematical equation we could do to. I mean, I've never seen. I mean, the odds for that to happen once, let alone again, that's got to be so. 2 field goals and 2 safeties. I remember being there because, unfortunately, it was the one year I did the Penn State marching band. I couldn't stand it, but I just remember people coming by and people were pissed. Yep. They were livid. It was 6-4. One of the safeties was intentional. It's funny. Penn State, I think they were 4-8 that year. They never gave up more than 24 points in any game. That was the
year before the year they went to the Orange Bowl, right?
Yep, that's right.
Yep.
That's right.
I think people are pissed because Joe Paterno didn't play Michael Robinson, the quarterback. He kept going with Zach Mills.
Yeah. And
it was like so obvious that Michael Robinson was a better option. I covered Penn State for the newspaper out there, the Sunday Daily Times, and I even wrote about him. Like it's like Joe Paterno could I remember writing this. It's like a tablet could fall from the sky, land in front of him saying start Michael Robinson, and he would still go with Zach Mills. It was just so stupid on his part. And Paterno's an amazing coach, don't get me wrong, but that decision all year to keep going with Mills over Robinson, I feel like he was pot committed for some reason with Mills and just wouldn't go with Robinson. It was just a big mistake.
I remember that actually they used to chant that year. Remember Anthony Morelli? I remember the stadium would chant, "Put in Morelli."
The worst.
Oh yeah, he would.
Dumbest. Well, Dumbest, one of the dumbest people I ever met. Let's just say that.
I remember their quarterback after him, Daryl Clark. I remember I used to deliver pizza for Papa John's when I went to school there. That was my job. I delivered to Daryl Clark several times, and he never tipped.
Really?
So like whenever, like later on, like after I left Penn State, if he messed up, I'd be like, that's karma, bitch. No, I hope he's not watching this, but I guess you're all right, Daryl. Sorry.
I hope he is watching it. We get a war going on Twitter. It'd be fun.
Exactly.
Kimmy Eagle says DraftKings yesterday offered Pacheco over 70 at plus money. And I heard the former Chargers doctor say that McKinnon, with the injury he had, won't be back for playing condition. That makes sense. Yeah, it's a groin injury. He's been out for a while. Like I don't expect him to play. Like even if he's active, might be very limited. Mike says Walt would be doing parenting podcasts soon. Stay tuned. And to go with that, John says Fremont Street is a must. Great experience for those who occasionally go on vacation there. Yeah, a great experience and a must for sure, but not with your 2-year-old kid like on a stroller. Like, what are you doing?
Did you ever go on the Slotzilla ride? That I can't even think of what it's called now. Like a mega slide, like you're like Superman in it, and you slide like all over. Yeah, I went on that once. It's a long way, but it was pretty fun. But I guess that's something family oriented there. It's called Slotzilla.
Okay,
you know what I'm talking about?
I don't.
Zip line. That's what it's called.
The zip line. Yeah, the zip line over it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I always see it. I'm like, well, first of all, how do you get up there? And second, like, even if I knew, I don't think I'd do it. So,
I don't know if I did do it once though.
Yeah, but like, yeah, still like don't bring your 2-year-old kids there. So yeah, that's the first episode of the parenting podcast that we'll have eventually.
Yeah.
I feel like I could do a parenting podcast with 2 kids under 2 for 6 months.
Yeah. Maybe once we start the show on my page and I have you on weekly, Walt, that could be a topic. Yeah. Rule number 1 of being a parent: don't take your kids to Vegas.
Yes.
Like, have you ever seen that old Simpsons episode where the Simpsons get taken away? They live with the Flanders because they deem Marge and Homer to be like incompetent parents.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, they have to take this parenting class, and the teacher of the class sitting there, like, because most people in there, don't know how to parent. He's like, and put your garbage in a garbage can, people. I can't stress that enough. Like, so we could, I think that would be a good start for the parenting podcast. Rule number 1: don't take them to Vegas.
Yes, don't do that. It's like I remember see kids there. I'm like, why are they here? This should be like adults only city, really. Like there's nothing here for kids. Like, so stupid. Anyway, Fremont Street's great. I like the strip better personally. But yeah, I like, if I go to Vegas, I like going to Fremont like once a trip. But like I'd rather hang out on the strip personally. Sue says 88 Super Bowl. Some guy named Timmy Smith, 22 carries for 204 yards and 2 touchdowns for the Redskins. Quacky's version reminded me of that. Yeah, we also had like Malcolm Smith had the MVP. Where he was some scrub linebacker, and he got a big contract out of it, and he just did nothing at his next stop.
Who was the quarterback for the Cowboys that in
Larry
Super
Brown.
Bowl was that? Who was it?
His legendary basketball coach, Larry Brown.
Oh, right. Yeah, Larry. Yeah. Did he have 2 interceptions and 1 for a touchdown?
I think so. Yeah.
What was that Super Bowl?
It's against the Steelers.
Yeah, was that Super Bowl 30? Yeah, it was Super Bowl 30, wasn't it? Because the Packers won the next year, and that was Super Bowl 31, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and then I think he got a big contract out of that. I think I recently saw that it was like this top 10 list of like worst free agent signings. Emmitt Smith to the Cardinals was one of those. But yeah, Larry Brown like got a big contract. It's like, man, Neil O'Donnell threw it right to him. It's like we could have caught that. So
yeah,
that's
let's not say we, because I can't catch anything. I think I told you a story about like because in like Philadelphia public schools, our coaches had to double up on stuff because our football coach was also our swim coach because like we just didn't have the funding for both. Mm-hmm. So I was like the captain of the swim team, but like my football coach wanted me to work out with the football team to get stronger, and like eventually he's like, oh, you should try out for the team, because like I always ran with him and worked and like did weights with him. I was actually we got a t-shirt. We got a Central High t-shirt. If you did 30 workouts, like pre-school, like before school workouts, like you'd have to go to the weight room at like 6:30 in the morning, like just pump some iron. I was the first person to get a t-shirt, and like everyone on the team was like, what is this? Like, how is this guy's not even on the team? He's got a t-shirt. Like, I'm like, and the coach was like, well, he's been here every day. So, anyway, like he wanted me, he's like, because we used to run, I used to run with the football team, and he's like, Walt, you're pretty fast. You should try out a receiver. And so like we're throwing, he would like people are like throwing some balls around, and like he saw me catch. I dropped like 5 passes in a row. He's like, well, you should try out cornerback.
Wow, I played 1 year of football before I gave it up for music and acting. So I played offensive and defensive line, and I was the only person on the team. I ended up being after a couple games, we had tried out a couple people at long snapper, and nobody could get the ball back to the punter, or I don't think we even kicked any field goal. The year I was on, we were terrible. But then they finally tried me out at longs. I don't know why. Like the motion, I was the only one that could do it. I was the full-time long snapper. So, and I can still snap with the best of them. So, if you ever need one in a pickup game, you know who to call.
Yeah, I think I want to give it's more parenting advice. I want to give my son long snapping and punting coaching. Yeah. Like hire someone to coach him up for punting and long snapping. And so like at the very least he'll get a college scholarship as either a long snapper or a punter. Like I feel like you could do both, and like you have to be like really bad to like lose your job as a long snapper or punter. Yeah, you screw up, like, but if you do an okay job, like you can hold that forever, I think. Yeah. At the very least, and like you could get like $1 million a year in the NFL, which is like insane.
Yeah. Maybe there's hope for me yet. Maybe I should just shake the rust off my long snapping skills. Maybe I can get in there.
Yeah.
I would definitely want to be the punter over the field goal kicker too, for sure.
38-year-old rookie next year, long snapper
for the Jaguars.
Exactly. Yeah. Kelsey has 3 2-touchdown playoffs since 2000. Yeah, that since 2020. Yeah, that's why I like him with 650. I feel like he and McCaffrey should be closer than that. I think McCaffrey should definitely be the favorite for 2 touchdowns, but I think Kelsey if like McCaffrey's 230, I think Kelsey should be like 450 or 425. 650 seems like a decent number, so I don't mind that bet. John says if Dexter Jackson can win MVP, anyone can. Yeah, he's the guy who picked 6th. Rich Gannon, a couple interceptions in that game. That Super Bowl was a disaster, like on all fronts. So it wasn't a surprise that someone weird won the MVP that way. Alex says, I've only been to Vegas once, and it was during St. Patrick's Day. I almost got thrown out of an Irish bar for tapping a little person on the head who's dressed up as a leprechaun. That's very funny. I always go during the summer in Vegas. So it's always like 110 degrees because I'm entering the Super Contest there. I've never been outside of the summer. So I would love to go more often. In fact, like if I didn't have 2 kids right now, I'd probably be at the Super Bowl in Vegas for this weekend. But I don't want to leave my wife with the 2 kids. Like, that's another parenting tip. Don't leave your wife with 2 kids under 2 years and 2 months. She'll be mad. She won't talk to you.
I'm writing this down. This is good stuff.
Yeah. It's gold. It's gold, Jerry.
For someone who has no kids.
Yeah. Shirley Quacky never snapped one over the punter's head.
Absolutely not, Slew. Not me. Not now, not ever.
So
I never did. I always got it right back. I mean, maybe in practice, but never in a game. And I snapped many back there, and they're all good. Never bounced one up there or anything. So I played 1 year and I left undefeated and untied, a perfect long snapping record. So
nice. In our high school, my freshman year, our kicker was our like defensive tackle. So it's this like 300-pound kicker was amazing to watch. Let's just say that. And the other thing was so my senior year, this guy Kareem was our punter, and he was not a good punter. Like there was one game, it was like super windy. He punted the ball like straight up into the air, and because like the wind was so strong, it like flew back or like behind his head. It was like a negative 13-yard punt. There's like no reason to even punt the ball at that point. It was so sad.
I worked with this. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. That was it.
Oh, Yeah, I would always be afraid of that. Like, what if I kicked it with like it was like a bicycle kick sort of thing, and it went behind me? That sounds like something that would happen to me. I used to work with this kid Jared. He played on his high school football team, and he told me he was the holder. He was the field goal holder, and he said one time he had to hold it for like they were attempting a game-winning field goal, like as time was with like a few seconds left in the game. And I asked him, I'll never forget what he said. I was like, how did you feel? And he just goes, I was so fucking scared. And I was like, well, I was like, dude, I would have been too. But I was like, what happened? He's like, no. He's like, it was fine. I put it down. He kicked it. He made it. We won the game. But he was like, I was just so scared. I would be scared too. Do they keep a stat on that? Like good holds? Because it's like the thing about the hold, like long snapping too and holding. Like you never hear about them really unless they're screwing it up. Sometimes they'll say good snap, good hold. But that's it. Is there any stat for that? There should be. That'll be Quacky's corner, Alex. This I like that idea too, Alex. Quacky's long snap bet.
Yeah, they probably have those stats on like Pro Football Focus, like snaps and holds, but like yeah, I feel like you only are famous for it if you suck. Like, that's what I was talking about. Like all you have to be is average, and you can hold that job forever. So, John says the Ferguson brothers had great parents, 2 long snappers. Yeah. They're smart, very smart. John says,
good knowledge there, John.
I'm writing this down. This is good stuff. You really are a Back to the Future fan.
Yeah. Good. Jeez, John, you're on top of the references. I like it.
Yep. And Sue says Tony Romo wasn't scared as the holder against the Seahawks.
You know, isn't that funny that like that's what like in the moment, like, you know, at the time, you know, like people dogged him for that happening, but that's not really a play that really followed him throughout his career. I feel like it never was like, oh, like, you know, not, you know, obviously it wasn't as the magnitude wasn't as high as like a Scott Norwood missed field goal or anything. But what was so strange about that play, and for those who may not know what Slew's referring to, this was the 06-07, right? It was the year that it was the first round Seahawks. It was the year the Bears went to the Super Bowl and lost to the Colts, because the Seahawks ended up losing to the Bears in overtime in the second round. But 21-20, the Seahawks were winning, and then the Cowboys were going for a game-winning field goal, and Romo was the holder, and he fumbled it. But then he picked it up and still would have had a first down if he did. I think it was Jordan Babineau. Jordan Babineau knocked it loose. So like he still would have had the first down if he just hadn't fumbled, even after he mishandled the snap. That was a gaffe of monumental proportions, and I feel like it never really got talked about after that. Lucky for him. So
yeah, because he choked in other instances.
Right. I guess that's true.
Yeah. I mean, it could have gone either way. Like he could have won a couple Super Bowls and everyone would have forgot about it, or he could have, just continued to choke in the playoffs, which happened. Yeah. Although I feel like it's not completely fair because like I feel like he had bad coaching as well at times. Like after Bill Parcells, I mean, like and some of his losses in the playoffs was on the bad coaching, but he definitely had some like really bad playoff performances as well. So yeah, and plus like he's a quarterback. He's not a professional holder. Like that was just his job because he was the backup to start the year. So like all you had to do is make him not hold anymore. So
yeah. I always thought that was strange that he was in there in the first place. I mean, like you said, he was the backup, but you know what? I guess maybe that got swept under the rug because remember the very next year they were the 1 seed and they were 13-3, and they had a fantastic year, so they kind of forgot about it. And then they lost to the Giants. I've said this on here on the show before, and I'll say it again. If I had $1 million, I would have bet. I mean, not literally, but I would have bet it all in the pregame. I just remember Romo's eyes. He looked so scared. I would have bet it all on the Giants if I could have at the time. I just remember he looked so scared in that game. Everyone was riding him for going on vacation with Jessica Simpson during the bye week, and I think the pressure got to him, and they lost 21-17, I believe.
Yeah,
he threw an interception on the last drive to end the game.
Yeah, more of the stories: don't go on vacation before a playoff game. Remember that Giants team that went on vacation with Odell Beckham?
Yeah. They lost to my Packers. That was the 16-17 season.
Yep. Right. Mike says parenting advice: never let your kid be a holder. It's a no-win job. Yeah. Punting, yes. Long snapping, yes. Holding, no. It's I agree. Don't do that. John says the refs ruled Romo down short of the first down on that play, no fumble.
Wait, really?
I don't remember. I mean, I remember watching the play. I don't remember the specifics though.
I remember the Al Michaels call. It's so like it's a really good call by Al Michaels on that play. Like you can just hear in his voice that he's like, oh, and he's gonna get tackled by Babineau. Like it's just he couldn't believe what he was watching. You can hear it in his voice. It's a good call by Al Michaels.
Yeah,
was he really, John? I'll have to watch that again.
Yeah. What are your plans for the Super Bowl? Are you well, I mean, I know you don't want to watch the game. Maybe you'll watch a little Groundhog Day if you haven't already.
Yeah. I will watch the game. One of my plans for the Super Bowl, annoy you the whole time with texts about how much I'm hating the commercials. No, I mean, I'm sure I will be texting you at times, but no, I'll just be watching it here. I thought about having like I have my own Discord server for gaming. But I was thinking about like having like a Discord stream and just like a watch party, but I probably won't do that because that's a lot of people in there that could be talking over each other. So, yeah, I'll just be here watching the game. Maybe I'll go get some chicken tenders from Publix and eat a pound of chicken tenders and not take a nap before the game or something, and sort of thing. Yeah, nothing too fancy. Are you doing anything?
Well, the two kids is tough. I usually we've hosted parties in the past for Super Bowl like that. Those days are gone. And then I like last year went to my parents' house, just watched my parents, and my friend Body Burner came by, and like my sister was there and her husband. And so that was fun, but that's gonna be more difficult to do this year with the second child. So I think I'm just watching at home by myself, and my wife is probably going to be annoyed that football's on, but and then I'll tell her, oh, it's the last game. Like, you don't have to worry about this. And then she's like, well, there's the draft and free agency. I'm like, yeah, that's true. So yeah. I mean, I don't know, it'll probably just be live blogging on my own. So I'll be counting on some texts to come in to provide some entertainment support for that reason.
Yeah,
so
of course. Yeah. I mean, as soon as the game's, it's true. It sounds dumb, but I always forget like the draft it's going to be what, 2 months away, basically. So
yeah, 2.5 months. It always comes up very quickly, and I always feel unprepared for it. But Charlie Campbell does a great job of carrying us and providing some great info. Yeah, for sure. I can't wait to bet the draft. I'm like already saving up money for it. I want to just max bet everything on every sports book. It just and just make sure that don't have multiple accounts because like I know that someone they got like dinged as like a gambling syndicate on Bovada, and they refused to pay them out because this person won $31,000 on Charlie's NFL draft props, but like Bovada refused to pay them out because they deemed them a gambling syndicate. They got their money back at least, but like Bovada wouldn't pay them out. So be careful with Bovada. But yeah, every other sportsbook like FanDuel, BetMGM, DraftKings are all safe. Caesars is safe. Bet365 safe. A lot of other sportsbooks like PointsBet is a little sketchy. They've never paid me out. BetUS, I've heard some bad things, but they've also paid me out. Like I think those are fine. Bovada, just be careful. You don't want them to cancel your bets, but like these like major retail sports books, like they'll pay you out. So Mike says at halftime Quacky will be outside and long snapping to the neighbors.
Practicing for next season, man. It's never too soon. I got to get ready for next year. That's good.
Yeah. Sue says Walt better check with his new best friend Danger Legs before he makes a draft bet. Yeah, I don't know if you saw that hate mail, Tom, that came in. This guy was like,
I don't think I did.
Like it was during the Senior Bowl. Charlie reported something, and like this guy was like, "Oh, you can't trust Charlie. He's never right about anything." I'm like, "Well, actually, he's right about everything. Like, you're completely wrong."
It's opposite day for Danger Legs.
Right. No, that's his handle on Twitter. It's Danger Legs with a Z, not an S. The Z. And then I was responding to him a little bit, and then he messaged me, he texted me, and or replied to me, and then I replied back after I was working, then I went to sleep, and then I woke up. And he's like, oh, well, it took you 13 hours to come up with that response. It's like, that was pathetic. I'm like, dude, I was sleeping. I was like, I'm sorry, I can't be on your beck and call like every second. Like, you have to give me some leeway here with sleep. And so like I made a Jerks of the Week entry about it, and so he replied. He's like, I can't believe you're so obsessed with me that you made Jerks of the Week. I'm like, dude, you're the one who begged me to reply to you within 13 hours. So
yes, oh my god, that's funny.
Yeah. Bagger says Charlie Campbell predicted that Dan Campbell would draft Jack Campbell, who won the William versus Campbell Award for top linebacker in the country. Yep. Yeah, Charlie was all over that. He had the Lions taking Jahmyr Gibbs and Jack Campbell and Sam Laporta and Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker, that nice prop that we got at, what was it, 8-1 or something like that. That was
I got it. I think I got it at more than that.
I remember texting you and some other people. I'm like, the Lions are going to draft Hendon Hooker, but not with their first pick on day 2. So you might have to sweat it out.
Well, because I took Gibbs. I took Gibbs and Hooker. Charlie, Godspeed, sir. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, because the Gibbs thing, I couldn't believe he went. What did the Lions have, like the 9 or 10 pick or something like that? I didn't think he was going to go
6. They had 6, and they wanted Devon Witherspoon, but he went off the board at 5, and so once he went off the board, they traded down from 6 to 12.
That's right, but I thought that he was going to go. I didn't think he was going to go first round. So when that, because I got Jahmyr Gibbs at 25-1, I was like, you got to be kidding me! I couldn't believe it. Yeah, I won. I can't remember what I put on it. I think I had 25. Yeah, so I think I had like 20 or I think I put 20 on and I won 500.
Nice.
So it was and then I remember the next day because I was still like, I can't believe this. And you're like, hey, like Hendon Hooker, you're like, but just so you know, like anything can happen in the second round. So I was like, all right, like, and I think I won another 500 on that. So yeah, thank you, Charlie, appreciate it, and thank you, Walt.
Yeah, can't wait. It's 2.5 months, so start saving some money for that. All right. Anyway, we're coming up on an hour and a half, so I think we'll sign off. I'll be back on Saturday with either Kenny or Tom, or maybe both. Why not both? So we'll do a DFS show and also Saturday notes. We'll cover everything. I'll have a same game parlay. Talk about that as well.
Parenting advice too. So
yes,
probably.
More parenting advice, part 2. Yeah, so I'll have to think of some more parenting tips too. Thanks so much for everyone for commenting, listening, watching. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for Kevin, $20 super chat. Really appreciate that. Also, John Sanders, the hilarious 9/11 super chat. Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate it. It really means a lot because, like I said, just make nothing off the show. Campbell soup.
Oh, I got you. Hard. That was good, Mike. That was good.
It took me like 20 seconds. I was like, soup. Oh, Campbell soup. Yeah. So, Tom, do you have anything to plug? Maybe your Twitch channel, which I frequent.
Twitch on there. We've been having some good late night Twitch streams. Usually, I'm on Thursday nights after the show. But I do I have to travel across state borders tomorrow. I have a lot of driving to do tomorrow for work. So I'm not going to be on late tonight. But yeah, Quacky_T on Twitch. As I always say, it's just like me talking on here. I ramble about it's mediocre game. Like it's a mediocre gameplay, top tier conversation. And I reevaluate my own personal biases in music media and, and movies and anything else that comes up. It's a lot of fun. And I've been playing the Super Mario Kaizo hacks. It's been a lot of fun and getting a little bit better every day. It's been a great time, and I love interacting with you all. So, and QuackyT on TikTok. If you're on TikTok, though, with each passing day, I get closer to the day I'll be off that app. But but I have the most followers there. I have like 4,500 followers on there. So it's just not defeating, but to start over and rebuild a following on a different platform, it's slightly daunting. But yeah, I would love to see you out on the stream and interact and hang with you all there. I appreciate all the support. So
yeah, I pop in sometimes, so definitely check that out. We had a funny moment last week where you're talking about like first dates. And like I talked about how I took this girl to IHOP for our first date because like there's a couple things. Like first of all, I wasn't like into her too much, and like second, I wanted IHOP really badly, and so I was like, let's meet at IHOP. And third, like she was like I don't know, I thought she was like pretty like snobbish, bratty or something like that. So I kind of wanted to see how she would react if I took her to IHOP for the first date, and like if she was like really cool about it, then like okay, maybe I'll keep dating her. But like I don't know, she didn't take too kindly to it. So yeah, I was a first date to IHOP, and then like on the chat, like some girl was saying, oh, some guy took me to IHOP for my first date. I'm like, wait, it's like Megan, is that you?
that was hilarious. I was like, oh, what would the odds be? That was great. Yeah, Walt comes on there, and I will say, Walt, I do appreciate your support on there. You really help make it fun. But Walt can vouch. We have a great time on there, and so we'd love to see y'all join if you want. So
yeah, I have some more dating stories too. But yeah, my dating advice: don't take a girl to IHOP unless you really want to go to IHOP and you don't care about her too much.
Yeah. Bring your family to IHOP. Yeah, exactly.
Can you bring your family to IHOP and let us know how your kids do there? I think my wife's at the point where she wants to bring our daughter to any restaurant. She's only 5 months old, so I don't think she'd have a good time there. Like but like when my son, we used to take him before my daughter was born. We used to take him to some restaurants. Like he actually like behaved pretty well, like at restaurants. Like he would, some old ladies would like say hi to him, and like we would make some jokes that like they were flirting with him, which is like it was like it was like the thought popped in my head. It's like it's fine for like old ladies to do that, but like can you imagine like the old man like did that with like some little girl? I'd be like, oh, that old man is flirting with that little girl. It's like, wait, the guy should be in prison, right?
Where was John saying? Where was the second date, Denny's?
There was no second date. She actually blocked me on Facebook. So
oh no, jeez.
Yeah,
were the pancakes that bad? My God.
Dude, IHOP's great. I like that. That just proved that proved that she was the wrong girl. Like she didn't like IHOP.
Yeah, seriously.
But really, I thought she was like bratty because like we hung out as like a group of friends like the week before, and I already asked her out on a date, so I don't want to back out. But like someone spilled a drink. I think she may have spilled a drink on the floor. And so like someone grabbed like paper towels to clean up, and she's like, oh, the help will get it. It's like the help, like the help. It's like you spilled your drink, like clean it up. Like I don't know.
One time I spilled water at an In-N-Out burger, and I was under the influence of cabbage, and I didn't know what to do. It wasn't like it was just a little bit, but I fled the scene. I was scared. I didn't know what to do. So, because what am I supposed to do in that situation? Go up to the employees, be like, "Hi, I just spilled some water. Go clean it up." And I'm not going to do it. I don't work there, so I fled the scene. I didn't know what to do. Call me a coward, I guess. I don't know. Who is that?
Well, yeah. John's half right. She said she was in a dress and Walt was in sweats. She was in like she wore a nice top and jeans. I wore like a hoodie and shorts. So
wow, I mean, this date was more memorable than it initially sounded here. You remember what you wore?
No, I remember everything. Like she was attractive. It's just like she came off as like super snobbish and like just I don't know. But it was proof that she was not the right girl. And plus my friend who like introduced us, she's like, well, you know, like if you marry Megan, I don't know why she's like went jump to marriage, but she's like, if you marry Megan, like you're gonna have to get an office job and wear a suit to work every day. I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, that's what Megan wants. She wants a husband who dresses in a suit to work and goes to the office every day. I'm like, I don't think like that's like her prerequisite, but it's kind of weird to say. So
yeah.
It's another thing. Yeah. Anyway,
not me. I work from home 75% of the time, and I'm wearing like a nice shirt, but then sometimes I wear shorts. I mean, I'm on Zoom. They can't see.
Oh yeah.
Me. So
that's the move. I think like PTI, the two guys that do PTI, Kornheiser and Wilbon, that's what they're famous for. Is like they wear shorts on their.
Oh really? Yeah. John Kruk. I've seen John Kruk do that a couple times too.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Sue says last question: who is the head ref for the game? It is Bill Vinovich. Is the head ref for the game. So. I had to Google that. I didn't know. So, all right, Tom, thanks as always for coming on. Thanks everyone for watching once again. Really appreciate it. Thanks for the super chats. We'll be back Saturday. So talk to you then.
All right. Sounds good.